have that, please, Revelation chapter 3, we ask, amen, that you would stand with us, amen. Good to see you, amen. Sister Teresa, I'm just here with us, amen. God bless you for your presence here today. We honor you, amen. And all the work that you do in the community at large, amen. Revelation chapter 3, if you have that place in your Bible, can you respond by saying amen? Amen. If you're still looking, say, hold up. If you can't, it's right there in the back of the Bible, y'all. It's right there, amen. Revelation chapter 3. I'm reading from the New International Version, but I encourage you to read from whatever version you may have. This is the word of God. To the angel of the church in Sardis write, these are the words of him who holds the 7 spirits of God and the 7 stars. I know your deeds. You have a reputation of being alive, but you are dead. Wake up, strengthen what remains and is about to die. For I have found your deeds unfinished in the sight of my God. Remember therefore what you have received and heard. Hold it fast and repent. But if you do not wake up, I will come like a thief, and you will not even know what time I'll come to you. Yet you have a few people in Sardis who have not soiled their clothes. They will walk with me, dressed in white, for they are worthy. The one who is victorious will, like them, be dressed in white. I will never blot out the name of that person from the book of life, but will acknowledge that name before my Father and his angels. Whoever has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches.
Yeah.
Give ABC. Verse 1 said, I know your deeds. You have a reputation of being alive, but you are dead. I want to continue this series where God is trying to tell you something. Things may not be as good as they seem. Amen. After leaving the city of Thyatira, this postman who was dropping off all these letters at these churches, he travels 35 to 40 miles inland to the city of Sardis. Sardis was the capital city of the Lydian Empire. It was known as one of the greatest cities in the ancient world. It was located on the banks of the Bactolus River, and Sardis was popular for its golden sands. If you thought the grill had some good sand, you've never been to the city of Sardis. Matter of fact, if you went with us last year or the year before, you thought they had beautiful sands in Bermuda. You've never been to the city of Sardis. Sardis had golden sands, but not only was Sardis known for its golden sands, it was gold and silver in the nearby rivers. History tells us that the city of Sardis was ruled by one of the richest kings that ever lived, a man by the name of Croesus. And Croesus was in fashion and high quality living, and because he had high expensive taste, the whole city was decorated that way. But not only was the city laid out in high fashion, Sardis was a wealthy city. It was a beautiful and a prestigious city. It was so beautiful that everybody talked about Sardis. Every time you went anywhere near the region of Asia Minor, people told you that you can't leave until you visit the city of Sardis. This was a beautiful and respected city. I mean, the people who lived in the city of Sardis just knew that they were somebody special. It was an honor to say you were from Sardis. Matter of fact, people walked around with t-shirts that said straight out of Sardis. They loved being from the city of Sardis. It was a major city. It had a major reputation. I mean, the city was a reflection of the king, and the church was a reflection of the city. Everything and everybody living in Sardis had a good reputation. History tells us that Sardis was known throughout the region. Some people would say that this was the church of all churches. Everybody talked about the church at Sardis. Everybody wanted to visit Sardis on vacation. I mean, the members there lived luxurious. They had wealth, and they had state, they had possibility, they had political power, they had name, they had prestige, and the church was this beautiful facility that was on a whole nother level. When you came to the city of Sardis, the church sat up on Mount Timulus about 1,500 miles above sea level. This is why they say the church was on another level. It stood head and shoulders above everything. It was this beautiful church that was above everything. This was a major church throughout Asia Minor. But that's not it. Sardis had a good crowd every Sunday morning. They had the best choir, and they had the strongest praise team. Services was always on fire. I mean, the deacons prayed the house down. The deaconess and mothers had the best hats in town. Sardis had the best cooks, other than Sister Samuels and Mary. I mean, they had some wonderful culinary ministry. I mean, the youth ministry was active and off the hook, and nobody can cut corners like the ushers at the church at Sardis. Sardis was the place to be. There wasn't a church in town that was talked about more than the church at Sardis. This church had a good reputation, and the members knew it. They enjoyed hearing about their church. Every time, matter of fact, people brag about this church, and you really didn't have to ask them what church they went to, because you knew if they walked around town with their chest stuck out or their head up in the air, they were members of the church at Sardis. Now, it was the church where everybody was impressed with what they had. This church was impressed, and it was an honor to be a member. Matter of fact, word around town was that you haven't had church until you had church at Sardis. So when this letter came, when the postman said, "I got a letter from Jesus," the members started high-fiving each other and started patting themselves on the back, because they just received a letter from Jesus himself. Lord, yes, they were excited. They got this letter, that they were so excited. I mean, that Jesus took the time to write them a letter, and they could not wait for this letter to be read. They said, "Pastor, we know what the order of service says. We know we're supposed to sing the hymn, and but we don't want, no, Pastor, skip all that stuff. We want you to read the letter from Jesus, because we want to hear how impressed Jesus is with our church." Y'all know where I'm going. Here it is. They just knew that Jesus was going to tell them about all the good things he's been hearing about their church and the community. They said, "Pastor, please come on, read this letter, because we want to hear Jesus say what we already know about ourselves." Because everywhere we go, all we hear is people talking about the church at Sardis. People stop us everywhere we go, because they want to know what y'all doing down at the church at Sardis. So when the pastor opened up this letter, the members pulled out their phones, and they went live on Facebook, because they want everybody to hear what Jesus is about to say about their church. They want the world to hear Jesus brag about how good things are at the church. We want everybody to hear Jesus talk about how much money we have in the bank and how good our building looks. We want Jesus Jesus to talk about how on fire our services are, and we want the world to hear how good we march and pray and cook and dance. And we want them to know that whenever Jesus says a church is on fire, he's talking about the church at Sardis. We want Jesus to tell the world about how alive and well we are. But y'all, to their surprise, Lord have mercy, when Pastor started reading this letter, he started off and told them something they wasn't expecting. When he started reading this letter to the church at Sardis, y'all, they thought he was going to start off commending them like he did all the other churches. But Jesus didn't start off commending them. Jesus actually condemned them. Lord, have mercy. No, he didn't come and brag about their reputation. But to their surprise, Jesus condemned them because of their reality. Jesus didn't start the letter off bragging about how good they were. Jesus started this letter by saying, I know your works. You have the reputation of being alive, but if the truth be told, y'all dead. Lord have mercy. And when the members at Sardis heard Jesus say that, Lord have mercy, they immediately turned their Facebook Live off and put their offering back in their pocket, and they sat back in them pews with an attitude. Lord have mercy. When they heard Jesus say that they were dead, y'all, they got an attitude, and they said Jesus don't know what he talking about. Jesus must have been around the community asking people about our church. He must haven't talked to nobody, because if you go in this community, everybody's talking about the church at Sardis. So how dare Jesus say we are dead when everybody else says we are alive? And y'all, they were so upset. They said we need to have a deacons meeting because we got to put the pastor out of here because he ain't got no business reading no letter like that. And the pastor said, wait a minute, y'all. I'm just a messenger. Lord have mercy. Y'all told me to read the letter. I'm just reading what Jesus wrote. Y'all, they were upset because they wondered, how can Jesus say this about us? Everybody know we on fire, and Jesus got a nerve to say we are dead. And the members of Sardis was upset with Jesus' assessment of their church. And Jesus said, I'm not arguing that you have a good reputation. I know you have a good reputation, but the problem I have is that your reputation is contradicting your reality. That's all about. Jesus said the problem I have is that everybody in Sardis says you alive, but when I look at it, I say you are dead. See, when Jesus looks at a church, he didn't see what the people saw. When Jesus looked at his church, his analysis was a totally different, because the people of Sardis said we have a great church with a great reputation. Matter of fact, we are alive. But Jesus says, yes, you may have some good services, but you're still dead. You may have a packed house, but you're still dead. The building may look marvelous, but you're still dead. And what God showed me is that God is not impressed with the stuff we impressed with. See, we get impressed when the choir sounds good. And we get impressed because somebody can pray and quote scriptures. We get impressed because somebody can shout and dance. But don't you know you can do all that stuff and still be dead? And that's what Jesus was trying to tell the church at Sardis, that even though they had a good label, they still did because they did not have life. Lord have mercy. And a good label don't mean you have a life. It's almost like, remember the movie The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis and the little boy. There's this little boy, he kept saying to everybody, I see dead people. Every time he went somewhere, he said, I see dead people. And the problem was, the people were dead but didn't even know it. And that's the problem Jesus has with the church at Sardis, is that people were dead and didn't even know they were dead. They were walking around acting like they were alive. They were pumping up, each other. And the whole time they were dead, they were showing up to church every week. They were patting themselves on the back, stroking their own egos, but the whole time they were dead. And when I say dead, I'm not talking about physically dead. I'm talking about spiritually dead. And they were having church, but they were spiritually ineffective. Nobody was being saved. Nobody was being changed. Nobody was being delivered. Nobody was being set free. They were walking in church one way and they would leave the same. And if we're going to leave the same way we came, what's the point of wasting 2 hours? Am I preaching to anybody in this place? If all we're going to do is shout, if all we're going to do is sing a song, and for some, if all we're going to do is sleep, what's the point of coming in here? If it ain't going to have impact on our lives, you can stay home and be the same. Do I have a witness in this place? Y'all, that's why we can't judge busy, because you do know you can be busy and still be dead. You can participate on all the ministries. You can do a whole lot of stuff. And I begin to wonder how many churches or Christians be active every week and think they are alive and still be dead. And you have to be careful about telling people how alive you are, because Jesus may not see what you see. Jesus' assessment may be different from yours. Yes, you may look well to people, but things may not be as good as they seem. And I hope y'all listening to me today, because there's a lot of people, maybe just like Sardis, thinking they are alive, but they're actually dead. And let me just throw this out there. Moving don't mean you have life. Do we have a witness in here? Yeah, because you can do all that stuff and still be dead, because you don't get life by just coming to church. You get life when you have a relationship with Jesus. Do we have a witness in this place? You can come to church for 20, 30 years straight, but if you don't have a relationship with Christ, then you really don't have allowed to have a witness in here. Y'all, this church had a reputation of being alive, but Jesus said they are dead. And the reason this sermon is so important is because I don't want us at the Holy Trinity Baptist Church to end up like the church at Sardis. No, I don't want Jesus to look at us and say, I see y'all looking alive, but you're actually dead. No, I don't want us to ever slip to the place where we end up like Sardis. Jesus told this church, he says, y'all may look alive, but you're dead. Now, I don't know how y'all feel about that, but it shocked me, Sister Hinton, when I read this, because I wanted to know, how is it that this beautiful, well-known church ended up dead? How is it that this church, with this great reputation in the community, I mean, Jesus didn't say one good thing about this church. Everybody else was bragging on the church at Sardis, but Jesus didn't say anything good at all. How did this church lose its life? Well, here it is. The first thing I believe happened, the first reason the church at Sardis died is because they got comfortable in their Christianity. Lord, help me preach a little bit, y'all. The reason, in other words, this church died is because the members stopped growing spiritually. The members of the church stopped growing spiritually. And whenever the members stop growing spiritually, you will look alive on the outside, but you'll be dead on the inside. Help me preach. Yes, here it is. Now, the problem was they came to church regularly, but they wasn't growing. They were having some good services. They would leave feeling on fire, but the problem was there was no spiritual growth. The members stopped growing, and it's a dangerous thing to stop growing spiritually, y'all, because at some point they got comfortable with just showing up on Sunday morning. At some point, showing up to service was just enough. And once they got comfortable, they stopped coming to Sunday school, stopped coming to Bible study, stopped praying. And here it is, everybody couldn't make it, but they stopped reading their word at home, stopped meditating. The only time they plugged into God was Sunday morning. And because they did not feed their spirit or add anything to their faith, they stopped growing spiritually. Yes, Sardis was a church full of spirit-filled. At one time when it started, it was a church full of spirit-filled disciples. But over time, it came full of Sunday morning Christians. Yeah, after they got a reputation and people started talking about how good they were, they stopped doing the little things that was adding to their faith. And because they stopped adding to their faith, they stopped growing. And anything that's not growing is dying. Yes, my God. Y'all, they were showing up to church, but they was not growing spiritually. They were actually dying in the spirit. So instead of church, they ended up in a spiritual cemetery. He says that everybody, here it is, who disconnect from me will be dead. Because watch this, the Bible says in John 15 that apart from me you can do nothing. Which means you can have all the services you want, but you won't change anybody's life because you can't do anything without me. I'm sorry, let me fix it. You can look good without Jesus, but you can't change nobody's life without Jesus. Yeah, you can have good service without Jesus, but you can't have real worship without Jesus. And Sardis was having church, but nobody was being changed. And do me a favor, all because they stopped growing. So I came to tell somebody that whatever you do, don't stop growing. Can y'all help me preach a little bit? Can you just tell somebody on your road, don't stop growing? No, tell them, don't stop growing. Matter of fact, it's always easy to tell somebody else, but every now and then we got to remind ourselves. I don't care how much Bible I know. I don't care how blessed I am. I don't care what doors God opened for me. I've got to stay connected to Him. I wish I had a witness in this place. Yes, I got to stay connected to God because without Him, I am nothing. Y'all, the church at Sardis died because they were having church, but they stopped growing. But that's not it. Not only did they stop growing spiritually, y'all, this church died because they were more concerned about their reputation than they were about their relationship. Have mercy. Y'all, they started working on the building. They started working on the ministries. They started working on the kitchen and working on the uniforms, working on the outer man. But y'all, they forgot one important thing, that while you working on everything else, don't forget to work on yourself. Now watch this. The building looked better, but nobody was living better. Y'all ain't helping me preach. Yes, the building looked better, but everybody inside of Sardis was still living the same because they wanted people to say how good they look. They were happy as long as they were looking better than the other churches. But it's a dangerous thing trying to please people more than you please God, because all you're going to do is live for people. And don't you know people will lie to you and tell you how good you look when y'all ain't helping me preach. Y'all say amen. Some people look in your face and say, I like that suit. And as soon as you leave, I can't believe you wore that suit. Y'all ain't going to help me preach. I love your hair. When you get your hair done, and as soon as you leave, you say, I only act so I won't go there. Lord have mercy. Lord have a witness in here. That's why you can't worry about pleasing people, because they may approve of you today and disapprove of you tomorrow. But if you're going to please anybody, you got to make sure I please God. You have a witness in this place. Matter of fact, don't even work for people. You ain't got to work so somebody can call your name, because if somebody gonna call your name, then that's all you gonna get. But is there anybody here say you ain't got to ever call my name? Because as long as the Lord give me strength in my body. And as long as God bless me, I do what I do for him. So if you say thank you, that's all right. If you appreciate it, that's all right. Because I ain't worried about your accolades. All I want to hear is one day when the trumpet sound and the dead in Christ shall rise. When I want to hear Jesus say, well done. Come on, do me a favor. Don't try to please people. You got to please Almighty God. Y'all, this church lost their focus and they were worried about pleasing people. And every time another church did something, they said, we got to do the same thing. But instead of saying, I'm going to make sure that I'm better today than I was yesterday, they were worrying about the building. And the problem became, they had a nice building full of people with nasty attitudes. And I don't know how y'all feel, but I wouldn't want to go to a nice church with nasty people. Am I preaching in this place? You have a witness in here. Y'all don't ever forget to work on yourself. So Sardis, y'all, became disconnected from Christ. And whenever you disconnect yourself from Jesus, you start dying. And you can show up to church and still be disconnected. And let me tell you, talking to him on Sundays is not enough. You got to talk to him on Monday. You got to talk to him on Monday night. I'm sorry, you got to talk to him Monday morning, Monday afternoon, Monday night. And when you get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, talk to God, going to help me preach. You got to keep talking to him because you can run out of power. And this church ran out of power. They were happy as long as they were looking good. But y'all, it don't make sense to look good if you can't do any good. But Sardis died because they were looking good. And y'all, Sardis should have known that they had problems on the inside. But Sardis should have known that they were missing the mark. Because this is the one church, but really the only church that the devil never messed with. Good God Almighty. This was the only church out of all 7 churches that the devil never even tried to mess up their church. And y'all remember the Jews that tried to mess up the church at Ephesus didn't even mess with the church at Sardis. Y'all, the Romans and the false teachers that attacked the church at Smyrna didn't even mess with the church at Sardis. Y'all, the teachers of Balaam and the Nicolaitans that messed with the church at Pergamos didn't even mess with the church at Sardis. Y'all, Jezebel didn't even try to control this church. Y'all, the devil never messed with the church at Sardis. And I begin to wonder why would the devil not mess with this church? Y'all, every Sunday they came to church, they didn't have one problem. Everybody got along. Ain't nobody complained about somebody sitting in their seat. Ain't nobody have an attitude. Y'all, they had a good church meeting every time. Ain't gonna help me preach. Ain't nobody get mad. Y'all, the devil didn't mess with this church. And I begin to wonder why. And the devil let me know because I don't mess with churches with no power. Yeah, I don't mess with dead churches because dead churches don't mess with me. So if the devil ain't messing with you, it might mean he already had you, or there's nothing inside of you that he fears. So the devil didn't mess with Sardis because Sardis was dead and didn't have any power. But not only did I learn that, now I know why the devil keep attacking Holy Trinity. Because the devil understands that there's some power in this place. But the devil knows that he can't stop the church. So he's trying to stop you from coming to church. So he'll start some drama in your life. He'll start some problems in your life. Because the devil knows that if you come to the house of God, something gonna happen. Y'all making me preach now. You have a witness in this place. But can somebody help me serve notice on the devil? Devil, you better mess with Sardis. Because if you come up in here, you're gonna have a fight on your hands. Because we got some prayer warriors up in here. Up in here. Do I have a witness? said, hey, devil, if you mess with my church, we gonna chase you out of here. Y'all help me preach. And here it is, y'all. Jesus said, and that's why I need everybody to wake up. Come on, help me preach. Tell somebody, wake up. And just because your eyes open don't mean you ain't asleep. Y'all ain't helping me preach. Come on, tell somebody, wake up. And when Jesus says, wake up, he's saying, go back to reading my word. Go back to studying my word. Go back to praying as a family. Go back to waking your children up. Tell them it's time to go to church. You ain't gonna sit here in the house. When I move, y'all moving. Just like that. Lord, have mercy. You will have a witness in here. We got to go back, wake up. He says, whoever wakes up, he said, I'm going to mention your name before my Father. And I will never blot your name out of the book of life. In other words, Jesus said, if you're going to have life, then you got to stay alive. But the only way you're going to stay alive is you got to plug in to the source, which is Jesus. Because you do know that life can drown your power. Church can drain your power. Co-workers can drain your power. So when you come to church, plug in the source. When you go to work, plug in the source. Matter of fact, even when you go home, plug in the source. Y'all ain't helping me preach. Come on, tell somebody plug in. No, tell them plug in. Tell them plug in. Because that's the only way you're going to have power. And if the devil been attacking you, it must mean you got power. Has anybody been under attack? It's just confirmation that I got power. Can somebody declare with me, I've got power. I've got power. And this power that I have, I can speak life over dead situations. I've got power. When I go to work tomorrow, I'm going to walk in and say, in the name of Jesus, this is holy ground. When you get home, walk in the door and say, in the name of Jesus, this is holy ground. I've got power, 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 power. I'm done. But watch this. The only way you lose your power is if you stay disconnected too long. This church started with a full battle, but they stayed disconnected too long. And they thought that because I was in the presence of power, that I'll have power. But you don't get power from showing up. You got to plug in. And can I tell you that people can drain your power? Co-workers, church family, drain your power. And if you stay disconnected too long, you can die. So I learned what to do from my son. I don't know if he knows, but he's a theologian. There are times we go places and DJ takes his charger with him. That's right. And I'm trying to figure out why he's taking your charger. Because you never know when you're going to need to plug in. Now, if our young people can take their charger with them, we ought to learn from them that if the phone can die, so can we. And watch this. It don't matter how good the phone is. It don't matter how what new camera you have. It don't matter what new emojis you have. If you don't have any power, it ain't no good. Do I have a witness in here? I'm done. Watch this. I was in revival this week. And rushing. Left home, I turned on my iPad. In my bag since Sunday. And when I turned it on, it said 70%. Left it just home. When I got to Brooklyn, I got up the stand, opened it said 1%. Just because it appears to have a lot, don't mean it really does. When I opened it, it showed me what was before. But because I left it idle so long, when I needed it, I was only at 1%. Things may not be as good as they seem. So here's the word. Whatever you do, don't stay disconnected too long.
All right.
And y'all make like me, you need to be connected more than just at night. Before you go to bed, you hook your phone up. But throughout the day, life can drain you.
Yes. No problem. Yep.
A phone call can drain you. A social media post can drain you. Bad news can drain you. And here it is. Some of us be stuck because we left our charger at church.
All right. I see where you're going.
And watch this.
Yeah.
This is why you got to stay connected, because when you need to get in, there may not be no deacons or trustees available to let you in.
All right.
So all I got to do is make sure that I'm connected at all times. Because I never want to run out of power. When you run out of power, that's when the devil can get victory over you. So instead of us just having church, let's make sure while we're in church, we're connected. This church died because they were in church, but they wasn't connected. So regardless of how good they look, Jesus said, you have the reputation that you're alive. But you did. Because you can't even do what I've programmed you to do. There's so much inside of you that can't be utilized because you don't have any power. You stay disconnected too long. So every day, call on him, talk to him, read his word, pray. Whatever you got to do, don't stop growing spiritually. Because the moment we stop growing, we stop dying.
Yeah.
To him who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the church. And the people of God said,
Amen.
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 What a word.
Everything runs out of gas, coffee. We need power. We need power. And watch this. Don't know. Just because you can't make it through the set times is not an excuse for you to plug in. Your job or life may not be able to make it to the Sunday school, the Bible study, but you can study and plug in on your own. You can talk to him and pray on your own. Do what you got to do, amen? Because I don't want us to be like Sardis. A good-looking, well-known, dead church. Amen. Come on, let's sing all over the sanctuary.
Talking about the name Jesus. It is the sweetest name I know.
open.